There's coffee in that nebula. Why Captain Janeway's most famous Star Trek Voyager quote became a meme. Among Star Trek Voyager fans, Captain Catherine Janeway, Kate Mulgrew, is not just the fearless captain of the USS Voyager, she also originated several Star Trek memes in Voyager's weirdest episodes. Janeway gained notoriety for straight-up murdering Tuvik's Tom Wright and being equally ruthless to poor holographic bartender Michael Sullivan Finton McEwen by ordering the computer to delete the wife. But long before Janeway went all Ellen Ripley on a mutated macrovirus, even before she and Lieutenant Tom Paris Robert Duncan McNeil turned into salamanders, Voyager's first season had Captain Janeway's most famous line, "There's coffee in that nebula." The nebula in question is from Star Trek Voyager Season 1, Episode 6, The Cloud, and doesn't contain actual coffee, but Omicron particles, which can power Voyager's replicators at a time when energy reserves are low. To conserve precious energy, the USS Voyager crew are issued replicator rations for the essentials and encouraged to eat whatever Neelix Ethan Phillips whips up, but Janeway loathes the prospect of drinking Neelix's tragically misnamed, even better than coffee substitute. What's in the nebula is the promise of coffee, but when Janeway needs her caffeine, the distinction is negligible. Like Captain Janeway's coffee quote on Star Trek, Voyager became a meme. Fans have embraced Captain Janeway's coffee quote from The Cloud and made it into a popular Star Trek Voyager meme. "There's coffee in that nebula" came up so early in Star Trek Voyager that the quote formed an instant, unforgettable connection between Catherine Janeway, coffee, and nebulas. Fans have created a wealth of artwork inspired by Janeway's coffee-rich nebula, from t-shirts and stickers to cross-stitch patterns and tattoos. Even Paramount has a Star Trek Voyager coffee mug with "There's coffee in that nebula" printed on it, and Pop Culture Coffee offers an officially licensed Star Trek coffee featuring Captain Janeway. Captain Janeway's coffee quote is a meme because it's a memorably odd collection of words, but persisted in pop culture because it's far more relatable than other Voyager gems like "Get the cheese to sickbay." A lot of people are passionate about both coffee and Star Trek, and coffee-loving Trekkies can easily find a time to use "There's coffee in that nebula," like when Italian astronaut Samantha Cristoforetti tweeted Janeway's quote while wearing a Voyager-style uniform to celebrate the International Space Station's coffee machine in 2015. I've even requested a whole nebula of coffee on particularly groggy mornings. Captain Janeway is more popular now than she was on Star Trek Voyager. Captain Janeway is more popular now than she was when Star Trek Voyager first aired, thanks to streaming and the staying power of Star Trek fandom. At the time The Cloud aired, Voyager was still the new kid on the Star Trek block, and Janeway was held up to a certain amount of scrutiny as Star Trek's first leading female captain. In the 30 years since then, modern Star Trek shows have fully embraced Janeway's legacy by making Admiral Janeway and her holographic counterpart important Star Trek prodigy characters, and including abundant Voyager references in Star Trek Lower Decks. Gone are tired debates about Janeway's hairstyles. Instead, modern memes celebrate Janeway for ruthlessly protecting her crew. Today, Star Trek fans characterize Captain Janeway as the straight-up badass that she actually was in Star Trek Voyager. Gone are tired debates about Janeway's hairstyles. Instead, modern memes celebrate Janeway for ruthlessly protecting her crew and doing whatever it takes to get back home. Captain Janeway's assertive curiosity and protective spirit were always there, even in the Star Trek Voyager episode that gave us the coffee line. Turns out there's life, not coffee, in that nebula, and Janeway gives up Voyager's energy to heal the creature instead of taking it. Maybe that could be a new meme? In the vast reaches of space, aboard a stranded starship decades away from Earth, one woman faced Klingons, time anomalies, temporal paradoxes, and the Borg with unflinching resolve and a mug in hand. That woman is Captain Catherine Janeway, and her most famous line, "There's coffee in that nebula," has transcended its original scene in Star Trek Voyager to become a rallying cry for caffeine enthusiasts, science fiction fans, and meme makers alike. But why did this particular quote, delivered with dry determination and a touch of desperation, become such an enduring meme? Like the beverage it references, the answer is rich, layered, and best served hot. The origins, a caffeinated captain's cry. The quote comes from the Voyager episode, The Cloud, early in the show's first season. Janeway, faced with dwindling resources, learns of an anomaly, a nebula that may contain valuable energy sources. As she reviews the science briefing, she utters the now iconic line with a mixture of hope and obsession, "There's coffee in that nebula." For Janeway, coffee isn't just a preference, it's practically a crew member. Throughout Voyager, her fondness for coffee becomes a charming constant amid the chaos of being flung 70,000 light-years from home. It humanizes her. She might be the first female captain to headline a Star Trek series, but she still needs her morning fix. Why it resonates. The nebula is a Monday. "There's coffee in that nebula" is more than just a line about caffeine, it's a metaphor. For the average viewer, the nebula is the daily grind, the looming workweek, or the looming responsibilities that stretch into infinity. And what do we chase into that nebula with the same reckless hope as Janeway? A cup of coffee. It's the sacred ritual that says, we can do this. We will do this. But not until we've had our coffee. That relatability is what makes the quote so powerful. In the way Kirk had "risk is our business," and Picard had "make it so," Janeway's mantra is steeped in something more grounded and everyday: coffee. And in that way, she's every overworked student, every tired parent, every under-caffeinated commuter who's braved their own version of a cosmic anomaly just to reach the break room. The meme-ification of Janeway. As meme culture exploded in the 2010s, Janeway's quote found new life on social media. It became the punchline to countless images of stressed office workers, frazzled students, and sky-fi nerds clutching their mugs like lifelines. The line is often paired with pictures of Janeway mid-sip, eyes narrowed like she's contemplating warp speed, or whether someone took the last donut. On Twitter, Tumblr, and Reddit, "There's coffee in that nebula" transformed into a versatile reaction meme. It became shorthand for hopeful delusion, for caffeine dependency, and for boldly going where no barista has gone before. One popular meme features a split image. On one side, Janeway in her Starfleet uniform, the quote superimposed over a backdrop of galactic stars. On the other, a modern worker in pajamas, coffee in hand, staring at a cluttered inbox with the same determination. The implication is clear. We're all Janeway before our first cup. Kate Mulgrew's embrace of the meme. The meme wouldn't have endured without the perfect delivery from actress Kate Mulgrew, who played Janeway with authority and wit. Mulgrew's wry intonation turned what could have been a throwaway line into something memorable. In interviews and conventions, she's acknowledged the quote's popularity with affection and a wink. After all, how many actors can say their character's love of coffee turned into a cultural touchstone? Mulgrew even leaned into the fandom's embrace, reportedly signing photos with the quote and engaging with fans who brought coffee paraphernalia to conventions. It's a reminder that the line works not just because it's funny or quirky, but because it's honest. Janeway's craving is ours, and her conviction is oddly inspiring. Conclusion: a caffeinated legacy. There's coffee in that nebula is more than a meme, more than a joke, and more than